The Oxford High School tragedy. On November 30, 2021, a quiet suburban community in Oxford Township, Michigan, became the site of one of the deadliest school shootings in recent memory. 4 lives were lost, 7 were injured, and a nation was left grappling with yet another devastating act of violence within its school. What transpired that day would not only leave an indelible mark on the families and friends of the victims, but also reignite national debates on gun control, school safety, and mental health resources. This is the story of the Oxford High School shooting, an event that shook a community and raised critical questions about accountability and systemic failure. Chapter 1: The Days Leading Up. In the days leading up to the tragedy, there were signs, disturbing signs that would later be scrutinized for their apparent neglect. At the center of it all was 15-year-old Ethan Crumbley, a sophomore at Oxford High School. Ethan was described by classmates as a quiet, reserved individual with few close friends. Beneath this facade, however, were alarming indications of inner turmoil. His social media posts contained violent imagery, cryptic messages, and hints of a brewing storm. These were more than just cries for attention. They were glaring red flags pointing to a troubled young mind. On the morning of the shooting, Ethan's teacher discovered a chilling drawing on his desk. It depicted a gun, a person bleeding, and phrases like "the thoughts won't stop, help me," and "blood everywhere." Concerned for the safety of the student body, the teacher immediately reported the incident to school administrators. Ethan's parents, James and Jennifer Crumbley, were summoned to the school for an urgent meeting. During this meeting, the school expressed their concern, suggesting that Ethan might need immediate mental health intervention. Despite the obvious alarm, James and Jennifer dismissed the school's concerns, insisting their son stay in class. They left the meeting, leaving Ethan behind with his backpack unsearched. Inside that backpack was a newly acquired handgun. Chapter 2: The Weapon. The weapon used in the shooting was a 9mm Sig Sauer handgun, purchased by Ethan's father just 4 days earlier. Social media posts revealed that Ethan referred to the gun as a Christmas present, with proud photographs showcasing the firearm. James Crumbley's decision to purchase the gun, and the subsequent failure to secure it, would later become a focal point of legal and ethical scrutiny. Firearm experts and child safety advocates highlighted this as a glaring example of negligence, emphasizing the dangers of allowing minors unrestricted access to deadly weapons. Chapter 3: The Day of the Shooting. At 12:51 p.m. on November 30th, Ethan Crumbley entered a bathroom, carrying his backpack. He emerged minutes later, armed with a handgun. The quiet corridors of Oxford High School quickly transformed into a scene of chaos and carnage. Ethan moved methodically through the hallways, firing at students and staff. Over 30 rounds were discharged during the 5-minute spree. Students screamed, teachers scrambled to secure classrooms, and frantic calls were made to 911. The victims were targeted indiscriminately, leaving a trail of devastation in his wake. Among the 4 victims were young lives filled with promise and potential. Tate Meyer, a star football player and honor student, who died heroically while attempting to disarm the shooter. Madison Baldwin, a talented senior artist who was set to graduate early and pursue her dreams. Hannah St. Juliana, a freshman known for her kindness and athletic spirit. Justin Schilling, an active and dedicated student involved in numerous extracurricular activities, who succumbed to his injuries the next day. Chapter 4: The Aftermath. Law enforcement responded swiftly, apprehending Ethan Crumbley without resistance. The quick action of local authorities prevented further loss of life, but the damage had already been done. Within hours, Ethan was charged as an adult with multiple counts, including first-degree murder, terrorism, and assault with intent to murder. His demeanor during questioning appeared detached, and he offered no immediate explanation for his actions. The legal fallout extended beyond Ethan. For the first time in U.S. history, the parents of a school shooter were charged with involuntary manslaughter. Prosecutors argued that James and Jennifer Crumbley's actions, or lack thereof, amounted to gross negligence. From ignoring their son's mental health struggles to allowing him access to a firearm, Their decisions were viewed as directly contributing to the tragedy. Chapter 5: The Impact on the Community. In the wake of the shooting, Oxford's close-knit community rallied together in grief and solidarity. Vigils were held to honor the victims, with thousands attending to light candles, share memories, and offer prayers. Scholarships were established in the victims' names, ensuring their legacies would endure. The shooting sparked renewed debates nationwide on gun control, mental health support, and parental accountability. Schools across the country reviewed and updated their threat assessment protocols. Michigan lawmakers introduced legislation aimed at stricter gun storage laws, though the path to reform remained contentious. Oxford High School itself became a symbol of resilience. Students and staff returned weeks later, determined to heal and rebuild. The scars of that day, however, lingered in the hearts of survivors, families, and the broader community. Conclusion. The Oxford High School shooting was more than a tragic event, it was a wake-up call. It forced the nation to confront uncomfortable truths about access to firearms, the importance of mental health resources, and the responsibility parents and institutions have in safeguarding children. While the wounds of November 30, 2021, remain fresh, the lessons from Oxford endure. They shape policies, inform practices, and serve as a sobering reminder of what can happen when warning signs are ignored and systems fail. In remembering Oxford, we commit to ensuring such tragedies become a thing of the past.
The Oxford High School shooting case contains layers of complexity and some unanswered questions that have fueled debates and speculation. Here are some of the lesser-known or controversial aspects of the case. 1. School administration decisions. Many have questioned why Ethan Crumbley was allowed to remain in school after the meeting with his parents, despite the alarming nature of his drawing and the teacher's warning. The lack of a search of Ethan's backpack during the meeting is particularly troubling, as it contained the handgun used in the shooting. Number 2. Ethan Crumbley's mental state. While the drawings and social media posts indicated significant distress, there was little exploration of whether Ethan had a documented history of mental illness. The defense later argued that he was in crisis and needed mental health support, yet these claims remain speculative due to a lack of detailed public records. 3. The role of social media. Ethan's social media activity leading up to the shooting was filled with disturbing content, but it reportedly went unnoticed by his peers, teachers, or online monitoring systems. This raises questions about whether social media platforms should have flagged his behavior as a potential threat. 4. Parental negligence and legal precedents. Charging Ethan's parents with involuntary manslaughter was a groundbreaking legal move. Some legal experts have debated whether this sets a new precedent for holding parents accountable for their children's actions involving firearms. The Crumbleys' lack of cooperation with authorities immediately following the shooting, such as failing to appear for court and being found hiding in a warehouse, added to public outrage. 5. Community tensions post-shooting. While the community largely united in grief, some fractures emerged over differing views on gun control and accountability. A portion of the community felt that more could have been done to prevent the shooting through stricter school safety protocols and firearm storage laws. 6. Unanswered motive. Despite Ethan Crumbley being charged in extensive investigation into his background, no clear motive for the shooting has been established. His behavior appeared to be a mix of personal turmoil and fascination with violence, but no definitive explanation has been provided. Number 7. Systemic failures. The case has been cited as an example of systemic failure in addressing at-risk youth. Both the school system and the Crumbley family were criticized for missing opportunities to intervene before the tragedy occurred. 8. Public sentiment and political impact. The shooting reignited debates over gun control, mental health support, and the role of parents in ensuring firearm safety. It became a rallying point for both sides of the gun rights debate, with advocates calling for stricter gun storage laws and opponents emphasizing Second Amendment rights. Ethan Crumbley, the perpetrator of the Oxford High School shooting, was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the murders of 4 students and the wounding of several others. His parents, Jennifer and James Crumbley, were each sentenced to 10 to 15 years in prison after being convicted on 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. This case marked a precedent in holding parents accountable for their child's actions in a school shooting. As of December 2024, Jennifer Crumbley has requested her release from prison, arguing that her continued imprisonment during her appeal process is grossly unfair and unjust. Ethan Crumbley has also filed an appeal of his life sentence, arguing that new evidence questions whether he understood his guilty plea. The legal proceedings continue to evolve as appeals are considered.